welcome to our webinar today, How to Transform Collaboration Between Enterprise Teams. But first, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Bárbara Menezes, and I'm a Customer Success Manager at Miro.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt Mulholland. I'm Customer Education Manager at Miro.
And today we're going to share with you some of the learnings that we have from our enterprise customers, how they can collaborate with their teams by using Miro. This is our agenda for today. So first, we're going to talk about some popular enterprise use cases that we have with our customers. Then we're going to talk a little bit about how you can create content within Miro. Then we're going to present some remote collaboration features that we have. Then we're going to explain to you how you can use Miro in your workflow. And then finally, we'll share with you some educational content that we have.
All right, so let's get started. Miro is a virtual collaboration platform, and it's an infinite canvas, and it's a free-form tool as well, which means that many of our enterprise customers use it in a lot of different ways. And so we wanted to take a moment before we get into the nitty-gritty of how exactly Miro works to walk you guys through some of our most popular use cases for our enterprise customers. And so we can go ahead and start with the first one here. This is a category of use cases called visual collaboration. And there's a couple of example use cases listed here: dependency mapping, huddle boards, project status updates, dashboards, brainstormings even. You can see that there's an example on the right of a huddle board. This is a huddle board that we actually got from one of our customers, and they're using it just to use a traffic light system to show high level how a project is doing. And you can see also down at the bottom, there's some KPIs listed. You would fill those in with whatever the KPI is. And those links, that little M, that's the Miro logo, you would actually be able to click on those and go into a board with presumably more detail about that particular KPI. And this is so it's a good example of just whenever you need to visually collaborate, how something is doing, status update, things like that, that's the way you can do it. The next category of use cases we have is for user experience designers, UI designers. Some use cases are low fidelity wireframes, personas, CGMs, user flows, brainstorming, design sprints. They're in the middle. That's getting more and more popular nowadays, especially remote design sprints. Project repository. These kinds of use cases, these user experience designers, they need a flexible tool. And they have a lot of design tools, but not a lot of design tools that they can give access to everybody, the people that they collaborate with as well. So Miro becomes like this collaboration layer between multiple teams. And for project repository, it's a really interesting use case for something like user experience design or research, when you have many different types of things that you're trying to pull into one place to kind of get the holistic picture, which is what user experience design is about. And so I've seen some massive boards for user experience researchers and designers, and it's a really cool thing to do in Miro. For the next one, we have agile teams. This is another popular use case. Things like retros, USMs, dailies, sprint planning, PI planning. Agile, it's hard to separate using a whiteboard in a meeting room with Agile. Like it's really, really fundamental to being able to draw out what you're talking about, do a retro on a board with stickies, design some diagram or something like this. And when you're distributed, you lack that space. And so it's no surprise that Miro is really popular for these types of activities. PI planning is also really interesting just because you're mapping dependencies from many different teams. There's like hundreds, at least like more than 50 people in a single program increment. And this is a scaled agile framework where they're trying to get coordination between multiple teams. And it's a really cool use case in Miro because we can support hundreds of people in single boards. We've seen that actually for PI planning, where everybody even had edit rights. So it's a really cool use case. So those are, oh, one more, the visual project planning, I'm sorry. So for project planning, SWOT analysis, root cause analysis, it's when you want to get into that deeper layer into the different projects that you're running. So for SWOT, this is the example that's on the right. You'd use sticky notes to mark the opportunities and threats, and then come up with ways that you can utilize those different combinations of aspects of your project or product even. And root cause analysis, we have templates for the 5 whys. We have fishbone templates as well. So you can really use that visual way of breaking down a problem into its smaller pieces and understanding and how you might solve it and resolve the issue. So the reason why we started with these use cases is just because we know that Miro as a free-form tool, there's so many different ways that you can use it. And so we've started with the use cases so that as Barbara continues and she goes and starts talking about the individual features of Miro, how to stay organized and things like that, you can have in the back of your mind how you might go about using those features for yourself.
Thanks, Matt. So before we start talking about how you can actually create some content with Miro, I want to explain to you how you can organize content in your board. So in order to do that, first, I want to introduce you to our toolbars here. So on the left-hand side, you have the content creation toolbar, and then here at the bottom, you have the collaboration toolbar. And in order to organize your board, the content that you have in your board, you can actually use the frames. So it's this icon here on the left-hand side. And once you click here, you can choose the size of your frame. So for instance, I'm going to select this one, the custom size here. And then basically the frames, they work as placeholders. So you can include here different objects, different texts, different templates. And then once you include everything here, you can just move the frame through your board. And it's really helpful, especially when you have a board full of content, because when you go here at the bottom and then you click in the frames icon, you're going to have an overview of all the frames that you have in your board. And once you click into a specific frame, so let's say this one, it's going to take me directly to that part of my board. So it's a really, really easy way to just organize everything that you have here. And talking about creating content with Miro, you actually don't need to create content from scratch. You can use our templates from our template library. So here you can find the template library. And once you click here, you're going to find a lot of different templates that we have. And you're going to notice that they are organized according to use cases. So here you can find everything related to UX and design, product management, engineering, even operations and business. So I'm going to go ahead and click here in the UX and design. So you're going to find a lot of different templates. So for instance, we have customer journey map. We also have Kanban, service blueprint. And if there is a specific template that you have in your mind, you can actually search here. So let's say I want to find a customer persona map. So I'm just going to type here customer persona, and it's going to bring the template that we already have. And then you can just click here, show preview, to have an idea of what this template brings. So you're going to see a brief description here. And if this is something that you want to use in your board, you can just click here, add blank, and then you can adjust the template into your board. I'm going to go ahead and actually search for another one. So let's say I'm working with my team and I need to build a strategy map. So you can just type here. And again, if you want to include this in your board, you just click here, add, and then you can start working with this template, which is already pre-made. And what is really cool about the templates is that basically it's a collection of shapes, objects, and text. So you can just remove some of the objects if you don't want to use in your board. So I'm just removing a few sticky notes here. I could even change the text here as well. And talking about sticky notes, they are really popular in Miro. We see a lot of customers using sticky notes to do brainstorming with their teams. And what is really nice about the sticky notes is that after a brainstorming session, maybe you have a lot of tasks and you want to assign some of them to specific people from your team. So you can actually use our tags here. So let's say this is a task that the marketing team is responsible to do. So I can just click here, marketing, and I can include a tag here. I can actually add more than one. So let's say this is a project that has a low priority, so I can also include a tag here as well. And if you have a board full of sticky notes and different tags, you can search here a specific content. So let's say I want to understand everything that is related to the marketing team. So I can just type here marketing, and then it's going to bring everything that has its tags. Actually, if I just type marketing, it would also bring the object. Another thing that you can do with the sticky notes, so let's say you want your team to give opinion about ideas that they support, so they can actually include some emojis into stickies. So if I support that idea, I'm going to include this thumbs up, and then other people can come here and they can click in the same emoji, showing that they support my idea. So this is really cool. And another really nice thing that we have related to the sticky notes, sometimes you have a lot of ideas and you don't want to type in each one of the sticky notes that you have. So you can just click here in the sticky note icon and you can use the bulk mode. So let's say we're doing a brainstorming and I have a lot of ideas to include in my board. So I can just type all of them and hit enter. So I'm going to include idea B and also idea C. And once I'm done, I just click done. And then I can include all the 3 sticky notes all at once. And if I want to change the color, I can also come here and then pick a different color. So a yellow one. So it's a really fast way to add all the sticky notes into your board. And another way that you can include a lot of sticky notes all at once is if you have a spreadsheet. So in my example, I have a Google Sheet, but it could be an Excel file as well. You can go ahead and copy all the cells here. And then once you go back to your board and you press Ctrl V, each cell is going to be converted into a different sticky note. And if you notice, I use the purple, the green, and the yellow color, and it brings the same color as the one used in your Google Sheets. So this is a really nice way to work with the sticky notes. And we see a lot of customers also having physical brainstormings with their teams, and sometimes you have physical sticky notes, not only the digital ones. And what is really cool about Miro is that you don't need to type them all over to include in your board. You can use our sticky recognition tool to include the sticky notes that you have, the physical ones. The way you do it, you just need to click here on the 3 dots, and then you're going to find our sticky recognition tool. And the only thing that you need is to take a picture of the sticky notes in a blank, in a white wall. So I have an example here. And then you click open. And what it does, it's going to recognize everything that is a sticky note in my picture. And I actually enable this option here, convert to text. This is a new feature that is coming soon. Some of our clients, they already have access, but we're going to enable this to everybody in a few months. And then once I included the picture, I click here, add to my board. And then it's going to convert the picture into a digital sticky note. So this is really nice because it's not a picture, it's a digital sticky note. So you can do all the things that I showed you before. So you can include a tag, you can mention someone here, you can put an emoji. So just like the digital sticky notes that we have. What is really nice as well, so I told you that you can customize your own template. So I removed a few sticky notes from the template that I got from our library. And if you have a template that you're going to use every week or every day with your team, you can actually save in your personal library and also share with members of your team. So I'm going to show you a different example here. So let's say I'm working on a Kanban with my team. So I'm going to include this Kanban template here. And here at Miro, I'm part of the customer experience team. So I'm going to include here our name, customer experience. And we have the customer success team, and we also have the customer support team. So I can just put our names here, and I want that all the cards related to customer success, I want to include everything in green. So I'm gonna change the color here. And everything related to customer support is in blue. So I'm just gonna keep the dark blue here. And if this is a template that I wanna work with my team every week to understand, to track all the tasks that we have, after customizing it the way that I want, I can just select here my template. And then I click on the 3 dots and I can save it as a new template in my library. So I'm just gonna save here as customer experience, Kanban. And then I can decide if I wanna save it in my personal library or if I wanna share with my team or even the entire company. So in this example, I'm gonna save in my personal library and then I hit save. And once I go back to my library, here at the bottom, I'm gonna be able to find all the custom templates that I have and also those that have been shared with me. So you're gonna be able to find here the template that you just customized. And every time you create a new board or you already have a board that you're using, you can just include this template. And I wanna explain a little bit more about the Kanban. So it's made of cards. So cards, they are a little bit different of the sticky notes. So if you need more space to add some information about the brainstorming that you're having with your team, we recommend you to use the cards because you can just give it a title. So let's say I need to send a report to customer A. And here I can just add a lot of information that maybe it wouldn't fit in a sticky note. And if this is a task related to one of the people from my team, I can actually assign this to someone. So I'm gonna assign it to Matt. So I'm gonna type his name here. I can also include a due date. So let's say Matt, he needs to finish this task by December 20. So I'm gonna put a date here. And I can also include a tag just like the sticky notes. So let's say this is related to marketing as well. So I can just include a tag here. So then I'm gonna be able to see the card with all the information that I added here. And you can drag the card around the Kanban once the task has been started. And once it's done, I can just put here done. Finally, another thing related to creating content, you can also share content that you already have with your team. So we see a lot of customers using Miro as a single source of truth to share documents with their teams. So let's say you already have a file in your notebook, you can upload it by clicking here. So you just click here, upload, and then you can choose some documents from your device. So here in my example, the first example, I have a PDF. And what is really cool is that people who have access to my board, they don't need to download the PDF to actually see the content. They can just go through the different pages here and they're going to be able to see the content. But if they want to download, they can just go ahead and click here and they will be able to download the file. In my second example here, it's an article from our blog. So if you have like a website that you want to share with your team, you can just copy and paste the URL and you're going to be able to see a preview just like this one. So it's a very visual way to share articles with your team. Then here in my third example, I have a document from Google Sheets. And what is really nice, if people from my team, they want to see the latest version, they just need to click here and then they can refresh and they're going to be able to see the last version of this document. And if they want to go directly through the source, they just click here, source, and then they're going to be able to access the Google Docs. And then finally, my last example here, if you have a video from YouTube or Vimeo, again, you just need to copy and paste the URL and you're gonna see a preview and you can play the video directly from your board. You don't need to leave the board to actually see the content. So it's really practical. Now Matt is gonna talk a little bit about how you can collaborate with your team.
Yeah, absolutely. How about that sticky recognition, huh? Yeah. We're really excited about that feature. So all of this content, if you created something really cool, it it wouldn't be much value if you weren't able to share it. So if we are able to share boards, we can go ahead and do that. There's a share button at the top right corner, and it's going to act in a very familiar way to you. So you can type in the email addresses at the top and choose to whom you're going to share the board. And then we have 3 levels of access in Miro: can edit, can comment, can view. And they're pretty self-explanatory. If you wanted to give somebody access to the board without having them create a Miro account, that's also available. And we have that option there in the middle. It's called public link, and you can enable it, and they can get access to view or to even comment on the board for free without even having to create an account. It's a really powerful feature. And then down below, we have a team share switch. So if you turn that on, everybody who's a member of your team, or rather the team that the board is in, team is like our workspace in Miro, they would be able to have access to the board. And we have those same 3 levels of access: can edit, can comment, can view. Once you've been able to give access to the people, that's where the real magic starts to happen with Miro's live collaboration. And I'm actually going to be in the board here along with Bárbara, and she can turn cursors on. You're actually going to be able to see me move around the board, and you can have many people inside the board at the same time. You can see where their cursors are, and you can see them create content. So you can go ahead and see me say, hey, how's it going? And add content as it goes along. You can see which objects that I'm moving, and which objects that I'm manipulating, all in real time. And this is where some of the true power of Miro comes to life, is being able to create things simultaneously and view and just collaborate live. We also have features that are enabled specifically for live collaboration, and those are in the collaboration toolbar in the bottom left. And some of those include the timer, the voting chat, the video chat. There's the timer she's setting up right now. That's great for time boxing, like workshops or brainstorms or things like that, retros. There's the voting plugin. We also have screen share built in. And all of these features in combination allow you to really just have great productive meetings with that visual collaboration space, and in addition to voice and chat and things that we're all used to. Cool. Now, aside from live collaboration, we have the asynchronous collaboration as well. And that's mostly achieved through comments. And we have a comment tool right here. And she can go ahead and drop that on one of the sticky notes and type something. It works pretty the way you would expect it to. We have several types of mentions as well. She can mention me. She can mention everyone in the team by @team. She can @board, everybody whose the board's been shared to. Even @thread. So if you've been previously mentioned in the thread, you'll get a notification as well. So we really try to make it very easy to work with. And one of the coolest things is that, if you put the comment on an object in Miro and you move that object around, it's actually going to stick with it. And that's just because the comment, we assume, is contextualized with whatever you're talking about. So it makes sense that we'd want to keep the thread in the place of on the sticky note, for example. Okay, and let's move on here. So we know that all of your collaboration, eventually you're going to want to present and export some stuff, perhaps. And in this case, we actually have presentation mode. You might have seen it in the beginning. It uses frames, and it allows you to simply go into presentation mode and navigate through the frames list that you have in your board. Frames are very important. Always use them. And it allows you to present directly from Miro. So you can do your work, your unstructured work in one place, create your presentation in another, and present right from within the same place. And lastly, for the collaboration bit, we have the export. And exporting is, of course, very valuable. There's many different ways that you can do it. The most prominent are the save as image. So you can save any portion of the board as a high fidelity image, and save as PDF. And those uses frames again. So if you have frames, it'll export the board in a PDF with each page in the PDF being a frame. So you can even create documents and sendables, deliverables in Miro. Okay. All right, back to you, Barbara.
Thanks, Matt. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the integrations that we have and how they can help you in your workflow. So we have a lot of different integrations. We have integrations with Dropbox, Google Drive, Jira, Confluence, Slack. But today I'm going to focus more on Jira, Confluence, and Slack. So the first integration that I want to talk about is Jira. So what is really nice is that you can actually pull some issues from Jira to your board. So let's say you have a Kanban with your team, just like the template that I showed you guys, and you want to include some cards in your Kanban, and you want to pull some issues that you already have in Jira. So that's possible with Miro. And the way you do it, you just need to click here on the three dots, and then you're going to find our Jira icon. And once you click here, you can select some of the issues that you already have in your Jira webpage, and then you just click here, add, and they're going to be added into your board as cards, just like those ones that I already have, and it's going to bring some of the tags that you already have in your Jira issue. And once you expand here, you're going to be able to see more content. I'm not logged in my Jira account, so that's why I cannot see it. But once you're logged into your account, you're going to be able to see all the details here. We also have the Jira Add Zone plugin. So if you want to embed one of your boards into a Jira issue, that's also possible. It's really similar to this one, this integration that we have with Confluence. So if you have a Confluence article and you want to give more information about a project that you are working on with your team, you can actually embed one of our boards into your Confluence page. So you just need to go to our marketplace, and then you download both Jira and Confluence plugins. And you also need to go to your settings, and then you need to make sure that it's enabled there. Another integration that we have is with Slack. So here I have an example. So this is on a personal settings level. So you can just go to your personal settings and enable some Slack notifications. So when someone shares a new board with you, when someone mentions you in a comment, just like I was doing with Matt, if you enable the notifications through Slack, you're going to receive updates in real time here through Slack. So it's a really nice way to stay updated on what's going on in your board. Now Matt, he's going to talk a little bit more about some educational content that we have available for you.
That's right. So this is very near and dear to my heart as customer education manager. Just to quickly go through some of the resources. You've learned a lot about Miro today, I hope, and you can continue to do so. So the first option is the Help Center. You can go to it by help.miro.com. There's lots and lots of articles in there. We've tried to do our best, and it's a really great knowledge base. I've seen a lot of knowledge bases out there. It's a good one. There's lots of detailed articles out there if you want to find answers to specific questions, like how might a feature exactly work, maybe outline some user flow, get the details on something. That's where you should check first. So that's help.miro.com. The next one is a project that I'm very excited about, which is the Miro Academy. This is a relatively new project we're working on, which we have some pretty big plans for next year. And the goal of this is to give you guys real examples of how Miro is applied to solve specific problems. And we have 3 courses right now, one for getting started. So use that to onboard your colleagues. We also have one on Agile. User experience design one is coming up soon. And we also have one on company admins, if you're a company admin for our enterprise plan. Up in the top right, we have an education cap. It's available from almost every single page in the application. And in there, you will find resources to get started. You'll find quick tutorials on individual features, use cases. What's new is also in here, where you can see what's been most recently released in the product. And the more detailed change log, if you're open to that, as well as the ability to submit a support ticket. And you can also view existing support tickets here as well. And going quickly, just because we're already at 8:30, we want to get to the Q&A. We have one more thing, which is the Miro blog. And there's some cool articles in here, guys. We have great customers, and we interview them on the things that they're doing. inside Miro and outside Miro. So it's also about just, their workflow in general, product managers and agile coaches, and how are they approaching different problems that I'm sure that you guys are facing on a daily basis as well. And so please check it out. We've got some great resources there.
So on behalf of Miro, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, everybody.